There you are. Hi. My name's Fred Reed. I'm from CNY Live. I just wanted to stop in today and talk to you. For number one, we have our favorite bartender contest coming up right now. This is the last week to nominate your favorite bartenders. So if you haven't done it, go online, go to Facebook, put their names in, let us know who they are. Next week we'll be talking about voting for them. But right now, I want to bring you a great interview I had with Jess Novak. She talked about her latest projects and what's coming up. She's a fantastic artist. She's a voice for Central New York and live local musicians. Take it away. Thank you very much for coming out, Jess. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'd like to start out a little bit because I'm sure there's maybe one or two people around here that are not sure who you are. I don't know who those people are, but let's talk a little bit about how you got started in music and what got you going.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I wanted to take piano lessons, and my mom said no because she knew a violin teacher, so we did that instead. And she lived right around the corner from us, so I started on violin when I was 7 years old. And it was kind of a family thing because my great-grandfather played violin. My mom's name is Melody, even though she doesn't play anything. It's definitely in the family. So I started with violin, and I loved it, but was always trying to get out of it, kind of. Or I remember saying to my mom that I wanted to play violin like Jimi Hendrix because I listened to what my older brother listened to, which was like Kool and the Gang and Cream and Jimi Hendrix. And so I was just kind of confused, like, how do I use this instrument to play the music that I love? And so it took a long time to get there, but I did.
No kidding.
Yeah.
It's almost like the flute with Jethro Tull and Ian.
Yeah.
I think that would have been awesome to really have Jimi Hendrix play the violin too. That's kind of a good thought there. So you, besides the violin though, you play several different instruments. Kind of go through that list of what you really.
Yeah, I play violin, piano, guitar, and percussion. I play percussion with my feet, tambourine on one foot, and a stomp box in the other. And every once in a while, I'll try something else, but those are my primary instruments right now.
Okay. When you guys go out and play, or when you're playing and or with the Jess Novak band, I always notice the energy on the stage is phenomenal, and like it emanates from you, but everybody that's on stage with you is just out there, just like pouring it into the audience, and you just want to. When I'm watching, I want to get up on stage and just dance with you guys and everything.
Yeah.
What do you guys do to work at that, or do you work at it? What goes on in your mind when you're on stage?
I think it's kind of the opposite, where you just find people who gravitate to you. Like, it's funny when people are like, oh, how did you find him? Or how did you get them to play with you? And it just happens naturally. So I think once you get the right personalities together, we just have fun on stage. We just have a party for a while and laugh, and it's never the same twice. And so that's a huge reason why I love playing with people I play with, And I can just think of all of them, like how much personality they all add. The horns will dance sometimes, and Billy's always laughing with a big smile on his face. Like, those things, I think, are so important for me to watch a band. I hate seeing bands who look just miserable. I won't watch it. It doesn't matter how great it sounds. It's not fun. So to just find those people who work together in that way I think that's what music is.
Well, it's what I personally enjoy, though. It's like when you see a band not just playing the music, but actually performing it.
Yeah.
Never see you on stage without a smile, so that's awesome. I've listened to a couple of your CDs and everything, and it always seems like you guys are reaching out through the speakers, just hugging the audience, that you want them to be a part of what you're doing. So, unfortunately, though, you went to Nashville. You left us for a while. What were you doing down in Nashville?
Well, that's all right. I had to get out of it.
I don't mean unfortunately. But
yeah. So I'm working with some people down there to kind of take a couple of my songs outside of Syracuse in a bigger arena, hopefully. So we'll see what happens with them. But they organized me to go down and record at Omni Sound Studios, which is just covered in gold records, and it's just amazing to walk in there and see, like, artists I cover, their albums, were recorded there. So it was really cool to see Jewel and Miranda Lambert. Like, oh, I play songs from this album. That's pretty wild. So, so they organized me to go down, and it was really exciting to play with Nashville studio musicians who are just, people here are amazing, but it's just a different world, obviously. And, like, that's what they do. Every day they go to the studio and record with someone new, and just their level of professionalism and just understanding of music it was just incredible to be around. And so it's been a good challenge for me to now step up and like raise my game to their level, because what they put down is just amazing.
Wow.
So,
So these were your songs you were working on, though, correct?
Yeah.
So is there some kind of something coming back here, a CD, EP?
Yeah, I think
with that.
So we start with 3 songs, and I think I'm going to put out an EP next year with those 3.
So it's going to be separate from anything else. It's going to be a nice short little thing, and we're all going to love it. And
we
these
actually, sorry.
No, go ahead.
We recorded the songs up here, but after I did them down there, we're gonna separate them. They'll be their own thing. So.
Excellent. You do have another CD though coming out. I believe you said the end of this month or early next year.
Okay. Yes, we're very, very close. I'm listening to all the mixes now. So.
And is that your solo or?
Sort of. It's kind of a fun mix. What was happening was I was playing a lot more solo shows, and so people would say, "Okay, so which album is like this?" None. So I wanted to record an album that kind of captured the solo aspect. And why I really like how this one has come out is because it really does. And it does have some of the band. It has horns. It has Billy and Byron and Anthony, who I play with. But then it has just me and a piano, or lots more violin than most of the other albums, because I played most of what's on it. So I think that's really neat that it captures all these different facets. And like, it was funny, I was just writing out the liner notes and everything, and I'm really happy because my original goal was to play every instrument on the album, like make every sound. And eventually I was like, well, I'm just not there on drums and bass, like not even close. And even piano was like a stretch, but it still was really satisfying to sit down and be like, I mean, some of these songs are just 6 things that I put down, and that's really cool to be able to do that and grow as an artist from where I started, and got a lot of work to do still, but I think it captures a lot of me. Songwriting from 4 years ago to right now, and piano, guitar, violin, harmonies, just so many different things that I have to do. So it was really fun to do it.
You, if I remember, we had talked one time briefly regarding this album, and it was kind of like a dark and a light, if I remember.
Yeah, right? That kind of happened naturally too. When I first went into the studio, I put down 18 songs, and then that kind of changed with the Nashville, and we brought in another song that was previously recorded. So it came to 16 songs, which right there you're like, well, how are we going to do it? So we knew we had to split them probably into a double disc or 2 separate CDs, so we decided to do like a light and a dark, love and fear. And the more I started working with the artist, Robin Stockdale, who does a lot of my album art, we really developed that idea, and the songs really split evenly. And it's incredible to listen to them and hear the messages in each. And she and I went through and found, imagery and quotes that kind of got us thinking. And it's really cool, and I think important right now, just with the state of the world, that everything comes down to a decision of, you're acting in love, you're acting in fear, and it's really clear once you break it down to, the simplest form of whatever your dilemma is. But it was neat to listen to the songs in that way, and now to have them separated in that. And I was working on the song order, and it's really cool because it'll start with, a big punch of anger, and then jealousy and fear, and then, at the end of the Fear album, it's just like despair, and everybody gets there, and then you go through love, and it kind of picks up, and the end of the whole album is going to be breaking out of the cage and like letting go of fear. And so Fear is the Cage, Love is the Key is going to be the name of it, and the whole idea. So I'm really excited.
And I think you briefly said Robin Stockdale helped you in the photographing of this and everything.
Yes.
And you went through a whole big photo shoot with it.
Yes, working with Robin is just like the most amazing thing. Anyone who knows her knows that it's never going to be just like, oh, okay, it's going to be like the best thing you've ever seen. And she's done with that with me from the beginning. My first album was Bad Habit. So I remember I didn't know her very well, and she just sat me down and was like, I'm going to make you a cigarette. I was like, okay, whatever. And if you look at that album, it's amazing. She did. She made it happen in a super artistic, tasteful, amazing way. And then later, she's done a few of my albums, but the gravity picture she did of me floating in the air playing violin, and then Inches from the Sun, where she turned it, and just amazing. So this is just, a next step for her. And
right.
And she's so funny. She's like, well, we have to top, what we last did. And I always seem to have this kind of gravity flying theme. If I Were Some Fairy Tales has wings.
Yep.
Inches from the Sun, I'm Floating. So this one now is like Angel Wings, Devil Wings, and so it continues this theme. And it's funny because the EP, the Nashville EP, I think I want to call Rise. So it's all just about lifting up, getting better,
That's incredible. I mean, I've heard Robin sing as well. I mean, you guys are really strong, powerful women in the music industry around here. Why don't you talk about that a little bit, about what that means to you to be around and being that singer?
Yeah. So it's a funny thing that is just so pervasive. It's kind of hard sometimes to put a finger on it. And I remember trying to explain to people, like, well, you're lucky that you're a girl, because if you just look nice and can sing, everybody thinks you're great. And like, it must be so easy to get good. And okay, all right, maybe for a second, but no, it's just not like that. And there are just so many obstacles that you can't even see, that they're just societal, you're just, how you're perceived is totally different than a man, and it always will be, and you're just going to be held to a different standard. And it's so often not intentional, or people trying to be sexist or unfair. It's just the mentality. So, like, when I walk into a place and I've got my guitar, I'm like, oh, you're carrying your boyfriend's guitar, it's so nice. Like, they can't even, fathom that I would be, I don't know, that the name of the band is just
yeah.
It's just, things like that, or that a woman will always be criticized on what she wears, and a man will hardly ever. I've heard it, right. I can count how many times, and yet, anytime a female steps on stage, it's first thing. So things like that they're hard, and they wear on you. And it's hard when you're trying to be respected. Sometimes living life, just that'll get you. And it's just hard to get through that. So to see a lot of women coming through that and fighting it every day, and females, not to say there's anything wrong with just singing. There's so many amazing singers, but to see women saying I can do more than that, I'm gonna write my songs, I'm gonna play an instrument or two, and just be equal, and that's the whole thing with feminism, that I don't think it's ever about someone being better, it's about being equal, and that, if a man can do it, we can do it, just the same.
Right.
And yeah, it's good. It's good to see a lot of women breaking through that, and Robin is a great example that she's so multifaceted in her talents, and her album art is the best.
Right.
It's incredible. So it's really inspiring me to see her and so many other women doing that, really rising above and achieving great things.
And so together, you're supporting one another. It's not.
I think it's important to.
Right.
That's another thing. It was funny when we first did Ladies' Night a few years ago. And I wrote something about it afterwards. And there's also this kind of misconception that women are always jealous, always like this. And after doing that show, I had never, ever been in a more positive environment. Every woman was so quick to say everything that everyone else did great, And that doesn't always happen. I've done other shows where that isn't the dynamic, And so it was really inspiring me to see women supporting each other in that way, and I've seen it happen a lot since, and in various ways. I know for me, I run an open mic every month, and I have different guests, and it's a point of pride for me to always have at least one female with me,
right.
Often two, in the month. That's not to just break through that barrier that, it's all men playing around here. It's not. I had so many great women play just last night to show up, and it's it's really cool to see that shift.
What's the future? What are some goals in the future for you? What's something else coming up?
So there's just so many things. I was just thinking about it today. Every winter you think it's going to slow down because it's not, you're not playing outside all the time, and it just never does. It's crazy. There's, the new album, so that'll be an album release party. I'm going to go back to Nashville to finish some things on those songs, and my personal goal is usually in the winter I go away. I just go to Florida and I play all over, which is really fun, but this year I really want to focus on improving, and I've been taking violin lessons, vocal lessons, really trying to improve myself as an artist and feel more confident and just rise to the level I want to be at. And Nashville is a big push in that. To, watch these musicians just do what they do in a new way, it just blew my mind. And
I think that's incredible. You just said, I'm going to keep making myself better. Because I think a true musician, artist, painter, whatever, will never be happy with their work.
Yeah.
They gotta know when to put it down, put a song down or whatever, but they can always keep working on their own, what they do. And I think that shows the quality that you put out there, whether it be on your CDs or playing live.
Trying to.
You know, when we were trying to set this up, you're like, I play every night, so we have to do it at a different time. And I'm glad you fit us into the schedule and that we were able to talk to you, because I think the public needs to know a lot more about Jess Novak.
You know what, though? I was thinking on the way here, something you just said reminded me of this, that I was talking to another musician recently, and we were both talking about how it's so important to be satisfied with what you're doing, proud, but then always striving. And like, that's a very tough balance, because especially in art, to be critical is essential, but also be proud and promote yourself, and it's a very hard balance. So I always think of, I interviewed Ron Carter a few years ago when I was writing for the New Times, and I asked him, he's been on thousands of albums, upright bass player, just incredible, and with all different genres, and he's just like accomplished more than you can imagine. And so I said, you know, what makes you, why do you keep going? You know, I know it's one thing to be passionate about music, but to be as old as he is and as many albums, and he still teaches and all. He said, I'm still looking for the right notes. And it's like one of the best bass players in the world, and that's his attitude. And that really inspired me to be like, yeah, so there's no top ever. So you have to keep that balance of pride, but also striving and never ever being completely satisfied with where you are. It's cool.
It's such a powerful line too. Short and simple. I'm just looking for the right note.
Yeah.
You know?
It was so inspiring, and it motivates me all the time.
Excellent.
Best